Okay.
The question should be answered
Yes. Okay. Dear Sherlock, with time of the essence, here is the information I managed to gather. W&G? Grimble and... I don't know. W&G Company was founded by Joseph Grimble and his partner Raymond Waters. The majority of the capital was provided by Waters, who was the son of a wealthy ship owner. When J. Grimble died in 1886, his shares passed according to his will to his partner, Mr. Waters. The business of the Caladissa Abyss is one that we as British people are loath to remember. In the entire history of colonization, we have played falsely with the image we claim for ourselves. The truth of this murky business is still protected by the military authorities, so I possess but a small portion of the facts in the matter. Because of the Caladissa Abyss, the supply convoys of the garrisons from the northwest of Bombay had to make long detours. A decision was reached to construct a bridge over the abyss. The construction was entrusted to a contractor who enjoyed strong support within the military, echelons, and Mr. Melvin Bromsby. Bromsby committed to perform this task in a time frame that many specialists considered extremely ambitious, given the difficulties associated with the location and other particularities. The abyss was situated in the middle of a jungle, located in a distant and isolated place. A battalion was assigned to assure the security of the construction efforts that would take several months. One of the officers from the battalion was Captain Lowry. From the beginning, nothing went right with the project. They talk of how poor the soil proved to be and the recurring accidents. The remains from the ritual sacrifices were found at the bottom of the abyss, which caused fear in the superstitious Hindu workers. There was also the presence of a man-eating tiger nearby and other exotic mysteries. Thus, in the next few weeks, the construction suffered considerable delays. At the start of the second month, the officers in charge of the battalion asked to be retained in their role of supervision regardless of their personal hardship with the assignment. The command in Bombay supported their request, as it was a great opportunity to economize on the costs of construction, which were considerable. Then the officers asked for men from the nearby villages and the towns to strengthen the team on site. The soldiers following the convoys complained that large barriers barred their view of the site and prevented assessment of its progress. They were also denied passage beyond the enclosures. They further noted that although they brought workers to the site, they had never escorted any from the place and back to their homes. They were also deeply concerned that they could not identify the source of an unbearable foul stench that surrounded the worksite. Some people claimed that they had fallen ill merely from breathing the smoke from some invisible fire that came from the impenetrable mound. Dead bodies? Quicklime? Yeah. The construction was eventually completed or near schedule, but an inconceivable number of Indian families still do not know what happened to their husband, father, son, or brother. They left one day to build this bridge, never to be seen nor heard from again. One of the officers, Captain Lowry, tried to reveal the truth that everyone preferred be left alone. He was abandoned by his superiors and his comrades. He wanted to leave Bombay and applied for the post of principal at a penitentiary in Italy. It occurs frequently with non-commissioned officers, as there is no better direction than a former officer of the British Army. Everybody knows it and is envious because of it. But the army refused to grant him leave. They threatened him with charges of desertion if he left the Indian territory. They must have been afraid that one day he would reach England and find attentive ears for a story which must not be told. He died ill and alone, and here is a strange request from a soldier of the British Army. He asked to be cremated in the Indian manner. This last request was in fact refused by the army. All of his property was bequeathed to the military orphanage Brahim in Bombay. In hopes that this information shall prove helpful, good luck, Mycroft. Okay then. Can we say the person who killed Simon Hunter is skilled with weapons? Yes, because he was shot in the heart. Duh. Are the ruins near Richmond Abbey a common haunt for wanderers? Yes, that would be the brother. Can the handwriting on the message found in the ruins be the same as that on previous documents? In the ruins? Hold on. I mean, yeah. It is easy for a retired English officer to find work as prison. Wow. Is it easy for a retired English officer to find a work at prison as prison warden abroad? Yeah, we just read that actually. It's actually quite easy.
We must have made an error, Watson.
What?
Let's check our answers.
Damn it.
The questions should be answered
Okay,
yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
Oh, that's why.
It is simplicity itself, Watson. We have answered all the questions.
Cabby? No, it's Lestrade. Okay.
Hello, Watson.
Good morning, Lestrade. You are an early riser.
Good morning, Lestrade. You look really tired. You must have had a lengthy meeting with the minister.
But hold on. How on earth could you know that, Holmes?
I can read you like an open book.
Wow.
I jest with you, gentlemen.
It's not the proper time for jesting, Holmes. But upon my word, how did you find out about the minister? I was assured that only 3 or 4 persons at most had knowledge of this meeting.
Lovely cake
I
for
would
breakfast.
rather withhold my explanation.
Cool.
So you must be aware of the subject of the meeting.
Indeed, but Dr. Watson knows nothing of these events.
Well, our incorruptible yet ever practical minister shared the thoughts of the Chancellor of the Exchequer with me. They've decided that it would be most imprudent, given the crisis we're under, for a young lady barely 18 years of age to take control over one of the country's 3 biggest building enterprises.
I begin to understand, but...
According to the minister, despite his bad habits due to the lack of consideration for his partner, Grimble is the only individual that the council has faith in to reverse the current state of the Bromsby holdings. It was further explained to me that if there is a choice to make in the direction of my investigation, and lacking any new evidence to the contrary, I must take these concerns into account.
This is outrageous.
And you, Lestrade, what are your personal thoughts on the matter?
I really can't say, Holmes. The prospect offered by Grimble seems so attractive. He had credible motive to murder Bromsby and then foul it. In addition, he was the only individual with apparent access to the shed at the cement factory where we discovered the corpse of his presumed accomplice. However, the only gadfly to this theory is his statement to Dr. Watson when he clearly renounced all rights of succession.
That is an item of singular curiosity.
It is difficult for me to believe that a man who could plan and execute 2 or 3 murders with such cool presence of mind would give up an opportunity of this magnitude so easily. I also have spent sufficient time at Sherringford Hall to have a high opinion of Lieutenant Harrington.
I agree with you. This young man, by all accounts, has an unimpeachable character.
I have no evidence to cast doubt on the truthfulness of his testimony. We reconstructed the crime, and it was evident from where he stood he could easily see Miss Bromsby despite the crowd. Really, Holmes, I'm not a man who would hand over an innocent girl to the executioner, even should it cost me my career.
I am pleased to hear you say this, Lestrade. By the way, Lestrade, have you any knowledge of the place known as Aston's Theatre?
Is it that shabby theatre that lies near the bank of the Thames?
Yes, several weeks ago it was acquired by the Fairfax Theatre Company. Their international tour appears to have been most successful as they are set to open their new play in a week. Dwight Richards happens to be their director.
You mean the author of the threatening letter that we found on Bromsby's desk? I must admit, I thought the letter to be of small consequence. After all, it involved a matter from so long ago.
Sometimes old wounds are the most painful. In fact, we are leaving for Aston's right now. I know that you are quite busy, but if you feel like joining us, meet us at noon.
Okay, let's go.
This might be interesting.
After its triumphant tour on 3 continents, Fairfax Theatre Company is pleased to present the exclusive world premiere of Vagrancy and Profligacy. Profligacy? By S. Prescott. I can read. With Carolia Small and Rayleigh Wilcox. Staged by the author, company director Dwight Richards. Let's go!
Aston's Theatre. Here we are.
Yes, well done, Sherlock. You're a genius. Let's talk to the caretaker.
We are not open to the public yet, gentlemen. Oh, bless my soul. I can hardly believe my eyes. It is the young Sherlock Holmes, isn't it?
Watson, allow me to present Philotomy Kirby, who in his day was one of the last great hopes of the popular stage. He also took great pains to advance
Sherlock
my comprehension of the many subtleties of the theatrical arts.
So he can still prattle away. Don't listen to him. This is the most talented student I've ever met, upon my word, as an actor. But those days are past. So, am I speaking to the former actor or the world-renowned detective today?
Sherlock Holmes used to be an actor.
Tell me, what you know about the Fairfax theatre troupe?
2 months ago, they returned from an international tour. Richards, their director, had managed to secure the necessary funds to buy back Aston's. It seems he had finally resolved his troubles.
He was in some kind of trouble.
Oh, it's always the same with those tours abroad. Your star actress marries an emir. Another time, the entire troupe has their luggage stolen. Anything is possible, and whatever occurs is usually nothing good. But who would have imagined such a tragedy?
What happened?
What tragedy?
Their last tour started about 3 years ago. At that time, the troupe was housed at the Fairfax Theatre. But a series of failures forced the owners to sell it at a substantial loss. The owners were 3 individuals: Dwight Richards, their current director, Miss Davenport, their star actress, and the mistress of Richards, and lastly, a young actor, costumier, makeup man called Jeffries. They decided, after the sale, to launch an international tour in order to raise funds.
Their success was assured?
Yes, the fame of English theatre is worldwide. During their travels, Jeffries and Miss Davenport developed a close relationship, which was much to the regret of the hot-headed Richards. He is a gypsy by birth. No one can be more possessive and quick-tempered than a gypsy.
Pray continue.
In short, a dark tragedy occurred in a village in Latin America, located not far from the Amazon. One evening, after their performance, someone noticed that Miss Davenport and Jeffries had gone missing. The local authorities were notified, and the alarm was raised.
And Richards?
Richards was implicated in some manner, it seems to me. However, there was no proof of his involvement, and no bodies were ever found.
What a strange case.
If you need more details, you should ask the actors. As you may observe, they are rarely able to hold their tongues.
I will see you later, Kirby.
Yes, it was good seeing you again.
Hello, young man. What are you looking at?
Oh, I'm sorry. You startled me. I'm looking at her. Her. Are you from the press? Of course you are. You must be here to interview her. Ah, the play is wonderful, and Miss Caroline will surely shine. If only my father could have seen this day.
Who's your father?
Your father?
Yes, I am Bruce Aston, and my father was Clyde Aston, the former owner of the theatre. It may have fallen into some disrepair, but during its time it was well loved by so many. A host of young actors debuted on that venerated stage. Why, it was at this very spot where Mr. Richards first met Miss Davenport.
Have you ever heard of the Fairfax Theatre?
It is the theatre which was demolished. It seems to me that it had been owned by Mr. Richards together with Miss Davenport and a friend of theirs. They left on an extended tour, but I think it went badly for them. After his return, Mr. Richards bought the theatre back from the bank, and I do hope his good fortune will continue.
Well, we can hope.
With the talented Miss Caroline, I think anything is possible. And the building is still solid and comfortable. Though the bank took over the theatre, they left the keys. From time to time, I would do what I could to tidy up a bit or see to a broken window.
Wait, you have keys to the Fairfax Theatre?
Are you a part of the troupe?
Yes, when Mr. Richards noticed how I had worked to keep the place up, he hired me. I helped Mr. Kirby a little, and also Mr. Trumpet backstage.
Goodbye, young man.
Goodbye, sir.